Listen closely. The nightmare you are about to watch is real. It actually happened. But the brutality of this case breaks every rule on this platform. So we had to change the names. We built a shadow city called Mist Harbour. We simulated the horror to keep the censors happy. But remember, the blood was real. January 19th, 1996. 6 a.m. The city was a frozen graveyard. An old sweeper was cursing his luck on Winter Street when he saw it. A black plastic bag, heavy, wet, sitting against the wall like a discarded sin. He poked it. Soft. He thought, free meat. Finally, a good meal. He was half right. It was meat, cooked to perfection. But pigs don't have fingernails. Pigs don't wear nail polish. Inside that bag were 3 human fingers, sliced and boiled, pointing up at the sky, accusing God for letting this happen. You are watching X-Crime Noir, the story of the Mist Harbour Butcher, the most disciplined killer in history. Let's dig in. Her name was Alice Vance, 19 years old, a freshman. In a city of neon lights and loud jazz, Alice was silence. A country girl who came to Mist Harbour with a suitcase full of books and 0 street smarts. She wasn't the type to make enemies. She was a wallflower. But in this concrete jungle, being quiet is a dangerous trait. It makes you invisible. And predators, they love invisible prey. Alice didn't fit in. She didn't party. She didn't date. She just existed, drifting through the campus like a ghost, before she actually became one. January 10th, 9 days before the pieces were found. It started with nothing. A petty argument in the dorm. Maybe about a rice cooker or a bed sheet. It doesn't matter now. But for a lonely girl, a small crack feels like an earthquake. She needed to escape the noise. So, she made a choice. The last choice of her life. She put on her red coat. It was the only bright thing she owned. A beacon in the gray fog. She thought she was just going for a walk, to clear her head. She walked out of the gate, into the mist, into the night. It was 6 p.m. The city lights were just coming on. The city swallowed her whole. Alice Vance left as a girl and returned as a puzzle. It wasn't just Winter Street. Over the next 3 days, the city vomited up its secrets. The police didn't find a body. They found a scavenger hunt from hell. 8 different locations. Bags found in trash cans, under bridges, hidden in piles of dead leaves. The killer was mocking us. The autopsy room became a puzzle factory. And here is the detail that will freeze your blood. 2,000 pieces. The killer didn't just murder Alice. He dismantled her. He boiled the remains to destroy DNA. He cut the meat into uniform cubes, exact and precise. This wasn't rage. This was industry. We stopped looking for a thug or a jealous ex-boyfriend. You don't do this with a kitchen knife. The cuts were clean. He knew where the ligaments connected. He knew how to separate bone without chipping it. The police profile changed immediately. We were hunting a man with medical training. A butcher. A vet. Or a surgeon. And the scariest part, the neatness. Days later, her belongings were found. Her backpack, her books, that red coat. Everything was folded. Perfectly. Neatly. Who murders a girl, dismembers her into 2,000 pieces, and then takes the time to do her laundry. A psychopath obsessed with order. A perfectionist. The city declared war. It wasn't just an investigation. It was an invasion. Mist Harbour police mobilized the entire force. They knocked on every door. They checked every drain. They interrogated every man who knew how to hold a knife. Doctors, medical students, butchers, even chefs. If you had blood on your apron, you were a suspect. The city held its breath. We had clues, or so we thought. The bags used to wrap the pieces. They weren't random. One was a specific travel bag, the kind used by aviators or military personnel. And on the victim's coat, traces of cat fur and gunpowder. No, coal dust. The profile narrowed. We were looking for a disciplined man, living alone, maybe near the industrial district, who owns a cat and travels light. It sounded perfect. We dragged them in. We grilled a local butcher for 48 hours. We questioned a surgeon who had been expelled from the university. They all had alibis, or they just didn't fit. The surgeon was a ghost. He operated in a densely populated city, boiled a human being, and disposed of 2,000 pieces without a single neighbor smelling the meat. Without a single witness seeing a man with a heavy bag. How? Weeks turned into months. The leads dried up. The public stopped caring. The media moved on to the next tragedy. The technology in '96 wasn't enough. No DNA match. No CCTV cameras on every corner. The Mist Harbour Butcher didn't just win. He vanished. He walked away into the fog, leaving us with a box of puzzle pieces we could never put back together. The police failed. So, we have to finish the story ourselves. Let's step into the devil's shoes. How did he get her? Alice wasn't stupid. She wouldn't get into a stranger's car. Unless he wasn't a stranger. Or maybe he offered the one thing a freezing girl needed. Warmth. Do you need a ride home, miss? A polite voice. A clean car. A trap baited with kindness. He didn't take her to a dungeon. He took her to a clinic. Or a home that looked like one. Notice the coal dust found on her body. Maybe he lived near the boiler room. The killing. Quick. Efficient. No screaming. He didn't want to fight. He wanted a specimen. He likely sedated her. The silence in that room must have been deafening. Now begins the work. This is what separates a murderer from a monster. Dismemberment is messy, but he made it clean. He boiled the water. Why? To stop the smell of decomposition, to erase fingerprints, or simply because raw meat is harder to cut. He spent hours, maybe days, in that room with her, cutting, boiling, packing. A factory of one, a grim assembly line operating in the dead of winter. And then, the ritual. He didn't just throw her clothes away. He folded them. Look at the psychology here. It's terrifying. He respected the objects more than the person. He created chaos with her body, but maintained order with her coat. He walked out at dawn, blending into the morning rush, dropping pieces of Alice all over the city like breadcrumbs that lead nowhere. He wasn't afraid of being caught. He was proud of his work. The snow eventually melted in Mist Harbour. The winter of '96 ended. But for Alice's family, the ice never thawed. They waited. 1 year, 10 years, 30 years. The city grew. Skyscrapers replaced the old factories. The internet replaced the radio. But the surgeon never made a mistake. He never bragged. He never struck again. He simply stopped, which is the most terrifying ending of all. Where is he now? He would be in his 60s or 70s today. Maybe he's a retired doctor respected by his community. Maybe he's the quiet grandfather playing chess in the park. Maybe he's sitting next to you on the bus right now, reading the news, looking at his hands. Hands that once turned a girl into a puzzle. The scariest monsters don't hide under the bed. They walk among us, wearing the mask of sanity. Alice Vance remains scattered in the winds of Mist Harbour. Justice is blind, and sometimes it's also dead. We tell her story not to solve it, but to remember that evil exists, and it is precise, and it is patient. Sleep well, Alice. We remember. If you have the stomach for the truth, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, because the next file is already open. This is X Crime Noir, signing off.